welcome everybody to Winning Strategies for Buyers Agents. My name is Kevin Burju. We're going to talk about winning the buyer presentation, or as we like to say, how to elevate your process and maximize your value to lock in your compensation. Remember, it's compensation, it's not commission. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and to work on your business, because we all know how busy we are working in our business all the time. And it's always good to take some time out and actually work on your business, on what you do and how you do it. And this is a great time to do that. So my goal is to provide real value for you and share actionable insights that you can apply immediately to your business. So I do this in a step-by-step manner. We try and do it as quickly as possible because we have an hour. So we have to make sure. I'm going to keep watch on my little timer here. There we go. We turn the timer upside down. Yes, I actually have one of these. And again, a lot to go through. We're going to go through it quickly. There'll be a replay of this. Lab Coat Agents does a phenomenal job on their YouTube channel of getting this up there and getting it back to you. And by the way, if there's anything you need to know how to do as a real estate agent, go to their YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. All your questions will be answered there. Okay, having said that, so the other thing you should know that is that I invest, just like you, I invest in my own personal growth and learning. I've sat in on the webinars, reviewed the NAR settlement, talked to agents and participated in nationwide groups to bring you the best ideas and strategies for adapting to our new reality, okay, adapting to the new rules. The goal is being able to help us to adapt quickly and win in today's market. And if everybody's down with that, we're going to get started. Okay, before we do, I have a whole bunch of handouts for this particular class. So do yourself a favor, take a snapshot of this if you can get it. If you're on your mobile phone, then just take a screenshot of it. You can go back to it later, but this is not Lab Coat's registration. This is my registration. So it tells me, who came, gives me some information, and it enables me to send you all the follow-up material. And again, I don't market you to death. I'm giving you stuff in this presentation that is going to be useful to you. And you'll see this, this will come up, you'll fill this in. That's all you have to do. It'll ask you which class you're in, put this particular class, select it, drop down, hit, check me in for today's event. And you can do it after this, that's fine. Okay, now, so this is what both Lab Coat Agents and I are really all about. I'm going to read this out loud because I really like this statement. We help real estate agents to grow their brand on social media using the most relevant content, tips, and tools available, leading to more warm leads, sales conversions as a result of consistent market visibility. That's a mouthful, but that's really, I've spoken to Tristan, I've spoken to other people there. We really want to help people grow and make your business whatever you want it to be. If you're looking for an additional partnership in terms of lending, yes, I'm here for that. But I was also started out as a realtor, so I understand what you go through. I've spent the last 20 years in realtors' offices, day in and day out. So I see what you go through. I've seen what your needs are. And in this changing environment, saw a real need for this particular subject. So that's why we're here. And if you want to get a hold of me, here's all social media contact. It's on a link card. Link's not paying me for this. It's $20 and they do a great job. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel, whatever you need to, except TikTok and Twitter, which I'm not a big fan of. Okay, having said that, let's move forward. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover today. Here's our agenda. So mastering your value, because more than anything, the more you master your value, the more you know what your value is. And believe it or not, there's a lot of us who do not understand what our value is. the better you are at selling it to people, basically, and letting them know what your value is. The more you practice it, the more you know what your value is. And once you get to see all the different things that you do in a transaction, which we have a list of those too, you'll get to see what your value is and you'll be able to get compensated for that. So, two, winning the buyer presentation, gaining the secrets of gaining trust. What buyers really want from you. We look at a couple different surveys here, and some of this was surprising, a little disappointing, but we show you how to get through that. Crafting your value statement, which is really very important, and your process, and moving clients from confused to confident. And that's the way you secure your compensation. So with that, let's get started. And our settlement has been affecting agents differently. Not everyone's reacted to it the same. And what we're finding out is basically one of these three responses. Sure, there's more, but these are the three main ones that we're finding out. A, confused, lacks a clear plan, doesn't know what to do, sees all this stuff going on, has some information on it, but not really sure how to maximize that or what to do with it. That's person one. Person two, the complainer. And again, this is going to happen, and I get it. We went through this in Mortgage End. We went through this in 2012, 13, and 14 when, TRID was implemented. That took us for a ride. And, we complained about it. Some of us are still complaining about it. But, you can't really resist change. You can, but you're not going to get anywhere. So instead, what we're trying to do is get you to this person, confident, clear on your value, know what this opportunity presents you. Because make no mistake, you can look at this as, oh, I have to do this and now everything's changing. Or you can go, it's an opportunity. I have an opportunity here. What can I do with it? How can I turn this thing that I can't change into an advantage? How do you make this work for you? So we hope you leave here today with more confident in your value proposition, okay, than when you walked in the door or opened up your screen, so to speak. So when you know what you're worth, when you look at and examine and understand your process and what makes you valuable, the easier it is to get it. So, as the Greek Stoic philosopher, I'm going to screw up this name, try and say this fast 3 times, Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you react that makes the difference. So it's not the market. It's not what happens in the market. It's what you do with it that matters and makes a difference. Do you see this whole thing with Nora as just an aggravation? Or are you going to view it as an opportunity, a way to step up your game and a way to maybe reach out to more consumers? Because make no mistake, consumers are getting wrong information from the press, right? We all know that. This is an opportunity to set them straight. So you can't change what's happening with NAR and what's going to probably continue happening with NAR. But what you can do is change how you react and what you do with that information. Do you turn it into meaningful opportunities, ways to grow, embracing those changes, or, you're just going to let it beat you down? And that's basically it. But let's try and find a way to turn this into competitive advantages. Okay, the fundamental activities, by the way, have not changed. Real estate agents still have conversations, make appointments, sign agreements. Those things didn't change. It did change part of it. And I want you to take one mantra away, and you've heard me say this before in some of my other presentations, but conversations lead to contracts. It's the second most important mantra that I repeat to myself all the time. When I don't want to call somebody, I have to remember, conversations lead to contracts. What has changed is you and I. So we need to step up our skills. We need to be able to demonstrate our value way more effectively than we have been. Would you agree with that? Okay. Periodically, I'm going to look in the chat, see what's there. Oh, look at that. He's going to have that. He's going to have this replay up in 2 hours. Whew, he's a man. Okay. All right. So let's talk about mastering your value and securing your compensation. By the way, does everybody understand the difference between commission and compensation? And you can put that in the chat if you think that you do, and whatever your comments are on it. So I started really kind of spearheading to stop calling commission. I'm very adamant about that. So commission and its perception. Commission is something that we have to pay somebody in order to acquire something. I've got to pay commission to, and I hate to use used cars, but I will, or cars in general. I've got to pay the salesperson's commission to buy a car. Well, not really anymore. I can go to Carvana, right? But so that to me is an added cost. Cars are not super complicated. It's pretty much, I mean, the process is somewhat similar to buying a house. There's a lot of paperwork involved, but the paperwork is pretty open-ended as long as you read it all. The process is fairly easy. It's a well-known process. There's not a lot of hidden stuff in there. But remember, that salesperson does not work for you. So because they're not working for me, I don't like paying their commission. See, I resent that. I want to get that car, that toaster, for as cheap as possible. Now, difference is when you're buying a house, you need someone to lead you through, and we'll show you evidence of this, that people understand this. You want someone who leads you through a very complex set of circumstances, of issues, of things to overcome, of understanding. So that's someone that you want to pay, because I'm willing to pay a fee to get somebody to guide me through to make sure that I don't lose my shirt. Listen, if I do a wrong thing buying a car, 3 to 5 years, I'm out of it. I move on, right? Maybe I lose $5,000. Okay, a house, whole different story. So I do want to pay someone, and I never want to cut somebody's compensation for helping me, to lead me through a process and to make sure I don't make big mistakes. So that's the biggest difference. Enough of that lecture. And by the way, do consumers question the value of real estate agents? Well, let's look at some data. Okay. So here we ask this question, survey of 1,000 consumers. Do you feel the services of a real estate agent are not necessary when buying a home? Now, I'm going to tell you, hold your comments for a second, because I know you're all saying, of course they are. And I don't disagree with you. Okay. But these are really good things to look at. These are how people actually responded. So 45% said, because I can find homes for myself, stop screaming, because I can find homes for myself online and tour them at open houses, I don't think the real estate services of an agent are needed. Okay. 38% say that they're not needed because it seems simpler to me just to work with an agent representing the seller. Yes, there's a whole lot of issues with that, but we'll get to that later. And 16% said, because I don't think what real estate agents do is hard. Are you kidding me? But okay, understand, these people think that they can do it themselves. You and I know that, yeah, maybe 1% of the people in the entire population of the United States can do it themselves. Everyone else, not so much. It's not so easy to do. But what does this tell us? This tells us this is their perception, though. And their perception, again, is colored by what they've seen, what they see on TV, the talking heads that they see on TV. So I know you do a lot more. The issue is these people don't. The people that you're serving don't. Why? Because we haven't done a good enough job explaining it to them. Well, now we don't have a choice. Before we used to get away with, oh, don't worry about my commission. Don't worry about what I do. I'm going to help you find a house. And, the listing agent, the listing side pays for it. The seller pays for it. Well, that's not the case anymore. So now we have to step up. Okay. So this is another survey question that we asked. Which of these statements do you think is, most true? All right, 21%. A real estate agent who works for buyers can often get a better deal from the seller and their agent. Well, I do think that that's true. 25% of the respondents said that a real estate agent can find homes for sale that may not be found online. That's a perception. I don't know that that's true because almost everything's online. 25% is a big number, but that's okay. This is their perception. Here's the good kicker. 55% said a real estate agent can help buyers make smarter decisions, looking at the pros and cons of buying a particular house, translating inspection reports, and going through the disclosures and interpreting the fine print in all the paperwork. So, what does that tell you? You know what they value? Your expertise, your knowledge, and your guidance. These are things that they need from you and that you can give them. And again, media is not helpful in this. I can't believe some of the stuff that I saw the media say. But the key takeaway from this is that all of your content should always showcase how you help your clients win. All right. So, what this means, you're moving from a hiring basis for buyer representation. Again, this wasn't always the case. It was the case for listing agents. Listing agents would have to apply for the job. They were hired to sell the house. But for the buyers, it came upon many different ways and there was no commitment. Well, that's changed. So this means you need to formalize your offerings and your value proposition so the clients know exactly what they're getting when they decide to use you. Does that make sense? Okay. Now the buyer presentation is now a job interview. There's buyer presentations that we're all putting together. Yeah, that's your job interview. And in the past, you could say, like I said, don't worry about it. You can't do that anymore. So you have to prepare your presentation as if you're trying to get a job. It's an interview. So what does it take to get hired for that? Great question. Have you ever hired somebody? I have. It's not always that easy. But what are some of the baseline qualities? You have to think about what you're looking for. And it's tough. You've got to put the consumer's hat on, not your hat. Okay. What are the attributes that they're looking for in a real estate agent? Experience, results, trust. This means how we present ourselves and our value is more critical than ever. The scrutiny will be a lot higher because now they're having to pay out of pocket sometimes, or they have the risk of paying out of pocket. So they're going to take a whole nother look at that and how they hire it. This has become an important part of their process, and we have to understand that. Okay, another survey. Love these surveys. So the public perception is that buyers agents don't do much, which is, again, a joke, but it is their perception. Okay, I don't agree with that. According to a poll from Wave Group, you will read into this, 25% of buyers thought that their agents spend 10 or fewer hours on their purchase transaction. Maybe one out of every transaction you'll have in 3 years, you'll spend 10 hours or less on. I mean, it's ridiculous, but this is almost half. Look at this. 46% of buyers thought that the agent spent fewer than 15 hours on their home purchase. That is an alarming statistic. So they don't think you spend a lot of time. Why? Because they don't know what you do. They don't understand your process in getting them through their journey to buy a house. We've done a bad job at it. We have to do better. We have to detail it. We have to make them aware of what everything there is to do, and you help them get it done. And what happens if you don't get it done, or they don't use you, or they're not represented? That's even just as important. Okay. So, and it's really important to, again, learn to articulate that. So, how will you answer these questions? Because you're going to get them. What is your fee? So know that in advance. And these are things that you should know in advance. Practice this stuff in a mirror, with a friend, your spouse. someone, but practice this stuff. What is your fee? Why should I hire you? What if the seller's offer doesn't have compensation? Why should I not just work with the listing agent? So there's 4 questions at every buyer consultation and every conversation you should be ready to answer. I'm going to help you do that. Okay, so be prepared to get this. You're going to hear this. I just want to work with the listing agent. 38% of the people said that because it seems simpler to me to work with an agent who's representing the seller. So again, go back to this. Is that a good idea for people? Absolutely not. You and I know that. 38% of the people are not aware of it. That's an alarming amount of people. In most cases, it's a bad idea. So how do we educate people? How do we elevate them to be more informed? Again, content and conversations. The person best able to demonstrate value and explain the new rules will win. If you can do it clearly, concisely, convincingly, with confidence, you will start winning that. How you demonstrate your value and address the new rules is your opportunity to differentiate yourself between other people. And the trust, gaining that trust, and you'll get that by doing this, is absolutely critical. So let's talk about next up, the buyer consultation agreement. Who here does buyer consultations? Well, I guess we all do them now, right? We're past August. So we all do them in some form. Some do them better than others. I've seen some really good stuff. I've seen some really horrendous stuff and requirements. So my goal today is help you be more effective in your buyer consultation. I study a lot of sales training and scripting, and I want to share some examples of that with you today. So the buyer consultation, first thing, offer a time frame and an open-ended question. Our next step would be to arrange a consultation so we can understand your home buying goals, right? The consultation typically lasts whatever your time frame is, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, but we can take as much time as you need. And you have to learn to frame this in a positive manner, right? So there's absolutely no pressure to work with me after the consultation, but I'm confident that you'll find the information and my guidance extremely valuable. What does your schedule look like in the next 2 days? Don't forget, action steps. You have to give them something to do, okay? You want to move forward. Okay, opening statement. Can you tell me what your experience is regarding what it takes to purchase in the current market? Because again, people are getting all this information thrown at them. They don't really know. They don't know what's changed. They hear the talking teleprompter heads on TV, and that's all they know. Their friends say this. They don't know anything. They watch some content on YouTube or Instagram. You have to explain it to them. So, but ask them first. So, can you tell me what your experience is? Or how about what do you understand about all the steps involved to make sure you get the right house that you really want at the right price and terms that are agreeable to you? And then we have to remember, shut up, listen. They have to feel heard, and it's important to listen to them because you want to know what their perception is. You're not going to be able to adjust their perception or inform their change in perception unless you hear them. So listen, I'm in sales. I love to talk. I talk a lot. Sometimes I have to say, Kevin, shut up and listen. All right. Another thing that can be in a part of your opening statement. With all the changes happening in real estate, it's important to understand how everything works, including how professional agents like me are compensated. Would it help if I walked you through all the services we provide someone in your situation, whether it's a house you find yourself online or one that we find for you, to make sure that you have all the information that you need to make informed decisions? By the way, guys, I use this in the mortgage industry all the time. Every time I talk to a client, I say to them, I want to give you good information. The more information you have, the better decisions you make. And I really find that to be true. Okay, I'm going to give you some content examples here, some things you can do. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because again, we're a little bit limited on time. Pardon me, I'm on a little screen here. I'm going to go to the bigger screen, so it's not that I'm not looking at you. I used a cute thing here, Banana Realty. That's my realty. No, only kidding. So here's some content examples that you can post up, right? The caption would be the important work happens after you find the house, right? After the find happens. When it's time to evaluate, strategize, negotiate, this is where agents earn their keep. What you would post is a Zillow search is easy. Successfully negotiating in today's seller's market, not so easy. It's hard. You take care of the hard part. It's great, easy, simple post. How about this one? We help you evaluate all the things that may come up in a home inspection, giving you straightforward interpretation, help you make smart moves. Again, that's the caption, the post. Deal killer, or is it nice to know? Navigating the home inspection is a key component of one of the things that you do. And this goes on and on. There's some more of these. Having an experienced, number three, having an experienced agent representing you when it comes to the disclosures. The listing agent can't do that. And again, they don't understand that. They don't understand that. They go to the listing agent, they're not represented. The listing agent is not there to help them and explain it and tell them. Legally, listing agent is not there for you. They're there for the sellers. They're there to get the best deal from you, not from the sellers. You'd be surprised. I speak to people all the time and they don't understand that until we explain it to them. But you can see how you can have some content here and how you can showcase it. Here's some more content examples. Again, this one has to do with the listing agent represents the seller by law and act in their best interest. So when a buyer says, well, $7,000, $10,000, that's a lot to pay, if I have to pay that. Well, let's talk about a lot to lose. So you should have something available to you, like a situation. I'll give you one. Okay. So here's a situation. It's 20 years ago. The internet was like 2003, 2004. The internet was barely coming of age. So a lot of this information wasn't available. I'm going to tell it to you quickly. Had a situation where the listing agent, the buyer ended up going directly to the listing agent. I was doing the mortgage, and things were a little bit different then. But we sat down at settlement and looking through the stuff, and he comes up and says, "Wait a second, where's the deed for?" There were two properties. Sorry, should have said that. There were two properties for sale, and he says that I don't see the second property. So two different parcels, right? They're supposed to be included. They were listed that way in the MLS. Doesn't see it. We don't see it. Now, the valuation came in on just the first one because the second one was a plot of land. I tell them I would not move forward until that's included. There's no deed here that you're signing for. The agent said, "Oh, sorry, we couldn't get it ready in time. There was a holdup, but we've got everything cleared up. We just need a couple days to get that done." 3 months later, he's mowing the lawn in the back. Guy comes up to him and says, "Why are you mowing my lawn?" He says, "No, I bought this property." Nay, no, he didn't. So that's the horror story that can happen. And he had spent thousands and thousands. I don't think he ever got the title to the property, sued the agent, I assume. But so stories like that, be prepared, because those are things that are going to happen to people. Okay, here's 91 things that we do for people, or you do for people that represent you as a home buyer, or that you represent as a home buyer. That's 90 plus ways we serve you. You can highlight some of the key areas from there. By the way, you're going to get a copy of this. And if you want to copy this, we're going to send you this slide. You can go on here and get this because it's customizable. See my little face back here and who I work for? Guess what? You can give this to people with your face. We make that available to you. We'll send that to you. Again, stay to the end, fill out that registration, and we will get this to you. Okay. Need more? But wait, there's more. 179 ways agents who are realtors are worth every penny of their compensation. It's a whole list. Not only that, and that this is for both sides. This one is really it's a second edition of 105 more ways for with an emphasis on the buy side of the transaction. So all that's going to come to you as well for registering today. Okay, so let's talk about why people are reluctant to sign an agreement. Okay, good. Sorry, I was just checking time. So, A, they're not really serious or they're not motivated yet. Okay, you're going to find that. Two, they're unsure of what the agreement means. So they don't feel confident. They're hesitant. So you have to explain that to them. You must explain the reason for asking them to sign the agreement. You have to show them what it means for them, how it helps you. And again, I'm sure people here already use a buyer broker's agreement. Here's a good point. Does every buyer respond the same to the value propositions? No. You've got different types of buyers. So you have to tailor your value propositions to address the specific situation for different clients. And yeah, do they fall into groups? Absolutely. But different groups of clients have different issues. So they're going to require different value propositions. Here's a couple of examples. First-time home buyers, right? Every other Saturday, I do a first-time home buyers class, leads them through the entire process. But so a sample value statement for first-time home buyers, if you do 40-50% of first-time home buyers, that's a pretty good chunk of your business. I offer exclusive access to educational info, financial planning, and budgeting resources to help first-time buyers navigate the complexities of purchasing a home. So you're going to help them plan everything. You're going to help them budget, maybe give them a first-time movers budget, stuff like that. You specialize in that. So when you have first-time buyers, you'll have that. Maybe you have a group of investors. Maybe you specialize in investors. Here's a sample value statement for them. I specialize in identifying high return investment properties and providing comprehensive market analysis to help you make informed decisions when looking at something for your investment portfolio. Here's another one. Military and veterans. I know realtors who really 80% of their business is mostly military. I know mortgage people, the same thing. I'm very well versed in the VA loan process, which is always important to vets. The benefits and helping military families secure favorable financing options and explaining the process to hesitant listing agents and sellers. That's really important. I can't tell you the amount of times that I do a specific, when I have a VA loan, I go specifically to the listing agent. I call them up because there's a perception out there that it's really, not as good. Meanwhile, VA loans are some of the easiest loans to get through in terms of conditions. And most people don't know that. Relocation clients. I like this one. I provide comprehensive relocation services, including neighborhood tours, information on local amenities, local shops, moving logistics, temporary housing options, and settling in services. So again, you're going to have different clients. They're going to need different value statements, value propositions. We're seeing agents in some areas use two kinds of agreements, primary buyer agreement and secondary. Let's focus on the primary because they are different. So the primary is your ultimate. It's what you really hope for. It's a buyer consultation in person or in Zoom. You get them an exclusive buyer broker agreement. They sign it. They're okay with everything. They understand it. You go through their client onboarding process services, all that stuff. You get them signed up and boom, you go out looking for houses. And, this is your full client onboarding. This is for those clients who are ready to commit. They're ready to go out. They're pre-approved. You're ready to go. These are your ideal situations. But life isn't always ideal. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. So after the buyer consultation, right? You've just wrapped that up. You're now transitioning, because I'd like to take you in step-by-step process in how these conversations actually go. So you've done your consultation. You haven't really got into this part of it yet, but let's go into your agreement. Okay. So transparency. Always be transparent. This agreement also outlines my responsibilities and compensation structure. We can review this together if you have any questions. If they don't, it's up to you if you don't want to go through with it, with them. But I tend to like to do that. You can ask them an open-ended question. Would you be interested in taking a few minutes to go through this agreement to see how it benefits you? Go through positive framing. Again, presentation is everything. So with everything you reviewed, are you feeling confident about moving forward with this agreement and getting started and go looking for houses? So, okay, we're moving forward again. Pardon me. Are we going to get reluctance? Of course we are. This is real estate. So what if they push back on signing the agreement? What are you going to do? Okay, let's go through that script. Pardon me. I understand you're hesitant about signing the buyer agency agreement. And can I share why this is an important step for us to take together? Focus on the benefits. This agreement ensures that I'm fully dedicated to finding your perfect home, acting solely in your best interest. For example, if we see a property with multiple offers, I can use my negotiation skills once you sign this to advocate for the best price and terms on your behalf. Without this agreement, I wouldn't be able to represent you in that way and let them know that nobody really can. Don't be afraid to discuss compensation. I know for a buyer's agent, this is new and we like to shove it on the side. But you know what? This is a great opportunity. Okay. And again, this is just one idea. You may have a better idea. You can take this and twist it, swipe and deploy, swipe and change, whatever works for you. Feel free in the chat to share how you do this. But when you're discussing compensation, I would love the opportunity to represent you for any home you would find if you choose a FSBO. Tell them what a FSBO is, or a home where the sellers are offering no buyer agent compensation. Then we'll have to negotiate differently than if the listing agent already has the buyer's compensation built into the price. Again, more and more, and we've been seeing that the listing agents are saying, just send us an offer with what your compensation is. So they're not even saying when the compensation is built in. A lot of the listing agents I know are doing it that way, but they're having those conversations with their sellers and telling their sellers that they really should, be right or wrong, they should offer compensation that the house will sell faster. So many times the sellers will offer buyers compensation, right? My fee is X percent, 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever your fee is. And that may be covered in the seller's offer. However, if they offer less than my fee of X, then we might negotiate differently. Okay, so do you think buyers are reluctant to compensate agents for your services? Well, sure they are. Nobody wants to spend money. But let's see, it's not as bad as you might think. So again, this survey was done. They took a house for $500,000, and how much would you be willing to pay for the services of a real estate agent to guide you through the process? So people don't have an objection to paying you per se, to paying agent compensation. So here's again a survey of 1,000. You can see here that you had, look at this: 37% were willing to pay you, 2%, 2.5%, 3%. So now you're at 57% that are willing to pay you over 2% and some up to 3%. So that's not bad. When you get to this section down here, the 12% that are only willing to pay 2,500, they're not serious to me. And as my aunt would say, bless their hearts. Okay. So they come to you and say, I'm not ready to sign an agreement. I like you. I like what you're saying, but I'm a little bit on the fence. Okay. It's not a negative. Turn it into a positive. Acknowledge and offer options. I understand completely you may want to get a feel for the market before committing to a full service agreement with me. The good news is I can still help you at this stage. We do offer options like short-term buyer agreements or single home buyer agreements. So just pivot. That's all. Tell them about your short-term or your single buyer agreements. Um, and again, we mentioned this to you earlier. So why don't we put together a short-term single property agreement? That way, you said you wanted, we met together because you wanted to see 123 Main Street. Let me show you that. We'll have this agreement for that house. If you buy that house, yes, I get compensated. You may have to compensate me, or the listing agent may compensate me, or a combination thereof. Um, but I will get paid for that particular one. If you don't like me, you don't want to move forward with me, it's okay. No harm, no foul. It's great. You know, um, I'm confident once you experience the value I can provide you, you'll want to be onboarded as a full service agent. This can also be, for out of town, you can go, hey, while you're here during the weekend, just sign up for this weekend. Explain the short-term single agreement benefits. It allows us to focus on your search for, let's say, the next 30 days, 15 days, whatever you and they come to an agreement with, whatever they feel comfortable with. This is allowing you. This is your job interview. This is allowing you to showcase your talents. So this isn't a bad thing. Yeah, it's a pain. You didn't have to do this before, right? But this should give you more confidence. Keep in mind, venturing out on your own might seem appealing at first, but navigating negotiations on multiple offers without representation can be tricky and, I would say, risky and costly. With this short-term agreement, you'll still have access to all my negotiation skills and all of my market knowledge and my knowledge about the agents on the other side. Okay, so it helps you gauge interest and transition. Would you be interested in learning more about how a short-term agreement could benefit? So keep in mind, you're still doing this interview, right? If they're like, no, I'm not really interested, okay, cut bait, let's move on. But you can still, in the meantime, I can show you some properties that may seem like a good fit based on our initial conversation. Go through and say what features are more important to you in a home. Remember, the key is to be patient, informative, and highlight the benefits of having you represent them. Even in a shorter time frame, it's still the same thing. They're going to get the same service. Your goal is to get them to sign up for longer. Your goal is really to get them a house as fast as you possibly can, but meeting all of their goals. Okay. I highly encourage you to get this book. This is Help with Scripting. Again, I love Help with Scripting. I've read parts of this book, exactly what to say to close a deal, exactly what to say to win more listings, all of that. Is anyone familiar with this? I think it's Phil Jones made this. I highly recommend that you get this book. It will absolutely help you. The worst time to figure out that you need to know what to say is when you need to know to say it. Okay, we're running short on time, so I'm going to go through this kind of fast. You can utilize, I'm a wordsmith. I love words, right? I love putting statements together. I like doing all this stuff. But sometimes, and not all of us are great at it, and sometimes I'm not so great at it. I get stumped. Utilize Chat GPT, AI, any type of AI. You want to put in who you are, use your case scenario, what do you want to find out, what your goal is, and what is the output, what tone you want, all that kind of stuff. If we do teach a Chat GPT class that I'm going to put on my YouTube in a couple of weeks, maybe before that. So you can get an idea of how to use Chat GPT, but it can be very, very helpful with this. I'm not going to go through all of the outputs and inputs. We just don't have time for that. But I like this one, problem, overwhelmed by the complexity of the home buying process. The pain point for first-time buyers can feel lost and overwhelmed by the paperwork, legal jargon, and the sheer number of steps involved in buying their first home. Value proposition. Here's what ChatGPT came up with. What if I told you that buying your first home doesn't have to feel like climbing Mount Everest? Imagine having someone by your side who's climbed Mount Everest 100 times over and over again. I'll be your guide. I'll make each step clear and simple, which means you're a Sherpa, so that you'll feel confident and you'll know what's going on from start to finish. So it's good to use this. I like this too. And again, I'll try and remember to send you some of these slides if you fill out that form in the beginning and fill out the registration. At ABC Real Estate Team, we simplify the home buying journey for first-time buyers, ensuring you feel confident and control every step of the way. With our expert guidance, we'll help you secure the perfect home at the right price while connecting you with trusted lenders to understand your home financing options. We're not just finding you a house, we're helping you make a smart, secure investment for your future and your family's future. With ABC Real Estate Team, you'll experience a smooth, stress-free path to home ownership, knowing that you've made the best decision for you and your family. That's ChatGPT. I could not have written that as well, and I like words. So again, I'll send you some of that slides, but utilize that. If you're not great with words in terms of figuring that stuff out, use ChatGPT for $20 a month. It's a bargain. Let's talk about your value proposition or value statement. It helps you in these 5 key areas: builds trust quickly, saves you time, enhances the connection, it makes you more memorable networking at networking events, open houses, social gatherings, and much more. Increases your confidence, which is really the most important, and it differentiates you. So a value statement is a powerful tool to help potential clients quickly and easily understand how you can help them, what you bring to the table. You agree with that? Okay. So post-NAR settlement, consumers like simplicity. So post-NAR settlement, these 3 things that Maine buyers want to know. Again, what's the process? Why should I hire you? And how do I pay for it? What are my options? So we already covered the first 2. Now let's go through the explanation of how to get compensated. So let's take a look at some samples. Here's how I get compensated. My fee for services is X, whatever your fee is. There are 3 ways I get compensated for services. You'd like me to explain further? Of course they do. Here's my 3 ways. So number 1, seller offers compensation, in which case you don't have to worry about it. We'll put that in the offer, what we're looking for. If they agree to it, great. You pay me directly. Also very clear cut. They're not willing to pay at whatever price, so you'll pay me directly. 3, a combination of seller and buyer covers my fee. So the way to describe this is I use medical insurance. So think about this. It's like medical insurance. Sometimes you go to the doctor, routine checkup, everything's covered. You don't have to worry about it. Insurance takes care of it. Sometimes you'll have an issue and there'll be a copay for certain services. So it's the same thing. You go to the doctor, sometimes there's a copay. Sometimes you have something that they've never seen before and you're not covered, or for whatever reason, you're not covered in that. So it's the same exact thing. People understand insurance, medical insurance particularly. Okay. So we'll go through that. I'm not going to go through that one right now. So, and let's go past this insurance example, just because, again, I want to make sure there's other things that we need to get to. So there's a couple more options that you have, which people don't think about. So you can increase the purchase price to include the agent fee, given the fact that you think maybe that offer, there's room in the appraisal for that offer. So instead of offering 400,000, you offer, 410, and that 10 is yours. That's one way to go. You can add the agent fee to the loan amount. They were going to put 20% down. Well, maybe now they put, 15% down. You can actually get a no PMI 15% down deal done now. So you can do that either way. So there's more than one way to, I hate to use the word skin a cat because I love cats, but there's more than one way to get that done. Let's put it that way. Okay, you can leverage your lender. So your lender should be helping you with all of this, no matter who your lender is. I'm not only talking about me. Any lender should be having this conversation with you and say, hey, here's what it looks like, and help you to understand what the numbers look like, if you pay those past two ways. We call it a commission gap strategy. So they should be able to walk you through that so you get a clear understanding. The clearer you understand, the clearer you can impart that to your buyer. Using a seller buy down. I can't tell you, not so much right now, but when rates were close to 8%, I used a few of these and they got deals done. And it was really beneficial. We had sellers willing to walk away because, when we started that month, rates were at 7.25. By the end of the month, they were at 7.75. And it was a big difference on a $500,000 house. Okay. By the way, little quiz. Let's see if anybody out there knows this. Which option impacts payment more? If you reduce your price or you reduce the interest rate? Anybody have the Jeopardy theme? Do, 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 do. Bingo. Okay. If you reduce the interest rate, it makes a huge difference. So that's why, see, someone actually popped up in the chat. It said interest rate. Good for you. I haven't determined what the prize will be, but that's really important to know because some people focus on price and they don't understand that interest rate is far more impactful. Go back to your lender. Let them give you an example so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just show what they did. So people love a process. They're more confident when there's a process in place. So again, let's show them the process. So benefits provided by a real estate agent during a home purchase process. Sorry, I have to look at this monitor here. So this was interesting because this shows the age of the home buyer, right? So we're showing their age, right? You would think, help the buyer understand the process. Well, all buyers, that was the most important thing, 53%, right? And you would think, as you would expect, that goes down. There we go. That goes down, okay? So 24 to 32%, 32 years old, that's very important. But as you get to people that are 68 to 76, that's not as important. But look at this. It's not that far off. You're still at 44%. Pointing out unnoticed features and faults with property. Those agents who don't go to the home inspection, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. That's not a good thing to do. Again, here's your opportunity to shine. All buyers think that's 52% is most important. That really, again, changes. But look at this. As people are older, it actually starts to go the other way. So this is a good graph to have. This is something to show that this is what other people are thinking about. Again, show, flow, and demo. So this is anybody here does something like this in your buyer presentation? Because this basically shows, and this is for listing, pre-listing, listing and marketing, under contract, shows all the different things that you do. Say, oh, yeah, but isn't this about the buyers? Okay, home buyers roadmap. So here, this shows all the different points that you do. Can you map out every step in your buyer process and put that on a map and understand value if you documented it? Would you like some help? Okay, tell you what, we can get you this in a Canva template. Let me see if I can I do this? Oh, let's see. Nope, I can't put it in the chat. Reach out to me. I will get that to you so that you can document this. It's already set up in Canva. Makes it much easier for you. Here's the pièce de résistance. I'm not sure that this is for you, but who would be open to a 40-page home buyer guide that you can customize for you? So it doesn't, she's cute, but she may not be you. You can get this. We can do this, help you do this. So this is the contents: buyer agency overview, key buyer agent responsibilities, understanding the buyer agent compensation, dual agency and its implications, financing, closing costs, other process, the offer process, and lots more. So we can get you to do this. Let's see if I can get this. You know what? Let me see. Maybe I can get this here. Hang on. Let me try this in the chat again. There we go. All right, so it's in the chat now. So that'll tell you exactly how to get this customized to you. So it'll have your face, whatever your logos are. Awesome. That's all for staying for the whole hour. Speaking of which, we have 6 minutes left. Okay, confidence is a process. I'm going through this for you because it's so important for you to go into these consultations knowing what you're doing, having a clear picture of the objections you're going to get, knowing your process, step 1 to step 50 helps you. When you go in and sit down with these people, whether you do it over Zoom or live in their living room, you exude an air of confidence. People like that. People want that. They want to know. So they want to know that you're confident in your process so they can become confident in your process along with you. Communication is key, effective demonstration of value and trust with clients. That's a big key. So again, I want you to be ready for this shift. Do you have well-crafted value statements? Do you know what you're worth? Do you know what makes you worth it? Do you have defined and a documented process that you can show, that you can articulate? Here's what my process is, that you can put down on paper. Do you have simple answers to these new rules? Are you ready for this shift? I hope that this has helped prepare you a little bit, but you have to be able to be ready to demonstrate why you should be hired for this job. The most prepared agents are going to win. The agents who practice the most will win. Are you with me on this? Okay, so I hope you found this really valuable. If you can, and if you took my Google class, you'll know how important this is. But if you can, take a snapshot of this in your mobile phone, or however you want to take a screenshot of it. Leave me a review. What I really want you to do is also in that, if you can, find what's important to you. See what's missing in your business life. And say, hey, Kevin, I'd like to learn more about this, because if I get enough people doing that, I do a course on it. If I get 10, 15 people who say, hey, Kevin, really like the class, I really need to know about YouTube, Instagram, anything, that's real estate related. I get enough of that. I'll go research it, because chances are I need to know that too. Okay, having said that, I hope today has been helpful. I hope we shed a little bit of light and it helped guide you on your way to get success in a post-NAR settlement world, and it's not over yet. So figure out what your next step is, how you can action on this. Again, reach out to me. I'll send you all this information. If you did that registration, let me just see if I missed QR code not working. Please email the charge. I missed the scan code. Okay. Again, if you registered to Tara, Linda, and Joe Marie, I will get all that out to you. If you don't hear from me, I usually get that out within 3 or 4 days. So if you don't hear from me next week, you got all my social. I'm on Lab Coat Agents Facebook page every day, just about. So I'm easy to reach out. Just DM me. I will make sure that you get it. It's important for me to get it. I don't know why that QR code is not working, but I'll figure that out. And no, you're welcome. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope we were kind of like, I use this little lighthouse. Hope we kind of shined a little path for you today. Again, I want to thank Lab Coat Agents. They do great. We're having another one October 28th. This is an awesome class. It's very intense, but it's a great class. Database marketing specifically for real estate agents. It shows you how to keep in touch. 74% of people don't use us again once we sell them their first house. 5 years later, we find out they bought another house and sold that house through someone else. Why? It's not because you think of what you do. It's because you haven't kept up with them and kept in front of them in a systemized process. And we can show you how to do that. I think that's October 28th. You can RSVP for that. Here's a list of the classes that we do. Again, thank you so much. I'm going to get past that. And again, if you need some help mortgage-wise, I'm not looking to replace your current mortgage people. I'm happy to be an additional resource. I'm licensed. We're companies licensed in all 50 states. And again, thank you. If anyone has any questions, we have 30 seconds left. Sorry, just teasing. We can go a minute over. My contact information is on here. Hold on, let me see if I can get you that. My LinkedIn page. So, phone number. There we go. Well, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? Hang on. There we go. East Coast guy, 215-681-3587 is the phone number. Thank you so much for asking. And again, I'm all over Facebook. It's Kevin Burjou. Instagram, I'm Burjou Lender for You. On YouTube, Home Buying University with Kevin Burjou, or Home Buying You with Kevin Burjou. I like things that rhyme. Can you tell? So again, I really hope that you found this helpful. And by the way, that's my agent class thing. So copy that down too if you can. If there's no other questions, I think, I see one. Can you email us the charts and tools versus downloading the Zoom links? I can email some of those charts too. Yes, I will do that. Just DM me again. I'm on Facebook, and if you registered, I'm going to send you a package of this. So it'll be coming your way. All right. Again, now we're at minute 1. I've got to go. So I hope you enjoyed this. Everybody have a fantastic day. See you soon.